was something that so many of you watched in real time with us play out last January. I do want to play for you a portion of the NTSB's audio file evidence piece that was exhibited. This is the official recording that was released today. We did take out some of the silences because we are, in fact, an audio podcast and didn't want audio silences to be playing on the audio feed. But if you're watching with us on Facebook and YouTube and on your TVs and phones, you'll see there's a clock on the screen that has some of the transcripts. Take a look at this new piece of NTSB evidence.
8:43 p.m., 5 minutes before the collision, Flight 5342 was handed off to the DCA Tower Local Controller. The local controller asked the crew of Flight 5342 if they could switch their approach from runway 1 to runway 33.
Bushie 5342, Washington Tower, 1 star 32017, gust 25. Can you take runway 33?
The crew accepted the change and they were cleared to land on runway 33. This magnified satellite photograph shows the locations of runway 1 and runway 33 at DCA.
Yeah, we can do 33 for Bushie 5342.
Bushie 5342 at the Wilson Bridge, change to start for runway 33, runway 33 clears to land.
Change to runway 33, runway 33 for Bushie 5342.
There was no further communication between the local controller and the crew of Flight 5342 before the collision. The local controller was operating on 2 channels. While all aircraft could hear the local controller, helicopter crews could only hear radio transmissions from other helicopters, and airplane crews could only hear transmissions from other airplanes. Only communications between the local controller and PAT 25 will be shown in text on the screen. The controller twice advised the crew of PAT 25 about the conflicting traffic on approach and circling to land for runway 33. Both times the crew of PAT 25 reported that they had the traffic in sight and requested to maintain visual separation. The controller approved the request both times.
PAT 25, traffic just off the Wilson Bridge to CRJ at 1,200 feet, start from runway 33. Separation roof. American 1630 Tower, runway 1, lot boy, traffic throughout, start from runway 33, this traffic on 6 mile funnel.
Flight up runway 1, American 1630.
Tower Muscle 7, approaching Springfield, request around
Runway 1.
Most 7, standby. Bushie 5307, keep rolling out to November, ground point 7, good day.
November 307.
National College, good evening, Air Care 1 with you, single medevac.
American 1630 1 star 32014, gust 25, traffic 2 mile left base, runway 33, no delay, runway 1 clear for immediate takeoff.
Number 1, clear for takeoff, American 1630.
Muscle 7, zero request.
And Muscle 7 request route 3 to zone 6.
Most 7, you said route 3 to zone 6.
Yes, sir,
Muscle 7 approved.
American 472.
Good evening, Air Care 1's with you, single medevac helicopter 1,000 feet, 29901 on the altimeter, requesting zone 6 for Fairfax.
Medevac Air Care 1, Washington Tower, National Altimeter 29990. Approved through Washington Class, Robert Space for Land Insured at Fairfax.
29990 for Air Care 1, copy.
PAT 25, get the CRJ in sight. PAT 25, pass behind the CRJ. Two separate.
Just some text on the screen here. There's some additional dialogue between the two people in the military helicopter, and that's where the animation does stop, just as those two aircraft, as we know, collided just under 300 feet there off of the Reagan airport. And Frank, I got to tell you, they also had that surveillance video that I'm sure so many people have seen of the actual collision happening. I didn't include it here tonight. It's still very hard to watch when you know exactly what is transpiring there. And the other thing that was coming to mind for me, Frank, and you asked Dr. Windy a question earlier when it came to earthquakes and last night, and when something happens, how fast we know about it downstream. And, watching that clock tick towards 9 o'clock, we started our show that night about 9 o'clock, and it was about probably 9:20 or so, maybe 20 minutes later, which sounds like a lot in some hands and not a lot of time in others. When we started getting the first initial reports here during our show, and that is like burned into my brain about 30 minutes after the crash, still trying to understand exactly what was happening.
Right. And I think that there were pictures and videos showing up on social media very quickly after that. There's just so many cameras in so many places these days, thanks to mobile devices. But people didn't, I don't think it really sunk in that what was going on until about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes later. And I think that's when we started to hear about it or notice it on social media. I think it was Scotty that saw it first.
I think so too. I think there's a moment in the episode where our guest that night, we were talking about something else altogether, but you can kind of, when our little faces go down to the corner, you can start to see us make faces as we're trying to process what we're seeing. And to your point too, like, I didn't want to believe what I was seeing at first. I didn't want to utter the words of, the magnitude of what occurred was exactly what we feared occurred, that it was a passenger jet. But I remember at first being like, that can't be right. Like, is it a smaller aircraft? Is it not a crash? Is it just a data fallout? Are we just looking at bad data? These planes not actually collide? But this investigation will continue for 3 more days, this investigative hearing, and then they will put a final report together.